Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swamiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarane. So, His Holiness Subhag Swami will be coming. 'We're remembering Srila Prabhupada, 125th anniversary. I started reading Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. I remember when the devotees were compiling, just to hear and understand how Srila Prabhupada came into this world at the time that he came. And the absolute determination that Srila Prabhupada had. It sounds a little echoey, just a little softer. Being born in a Vaishnava family, his father, better, thank you, was determined that Srila Prabhupada become devotee of Srimati Radharani, arranging for private mridanga lessons. Gaur Mohan Dey was very, very pious. He was, as a Vaishnava, wanted to entertain so many sadhus. So naturally, Srila Prabhupada saw by his father Vaishnava behavior a real sadhu. But unfortunately, in this world, most people, they're misled, in darkness, not fortunate to follow a bona fide guru, the Guru Parampara, a very clear understanding of the absolute truth. So although it appeared that Abai had ordinary life, but although from the very beginning of his birth he was worshiping Radha and Krishna and encouraging the Jagannath Rath Yatra, and also his schooling, a different understanding that Scottish Churches College, what is it? It was actually a very prestigious school, giving guidance with Sanskrit and other religious teachings from the Bible and other places. But you see, Srila Prabhupada, even though he went to school, he got married at a very young age, had ambitions to maintain the family, do the responsible duties, and somehow through a friend's encouragement, come and you see this great saintly person, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Srila Prabhupada didn't want to have anything to do with it, but somehow on their very first visit, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta recognized Prabhupada, you're young, educated, you should spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. So this is like 1922, a young man, although he was appreciating Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's determination, erudition, and his confident command and propagating the Gaudiya Vaishnava teachings in a very powerful, bold way, it really, sadhu sangha, sarva shastra koi, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy, it affected Srila Prabhupada. This seed was planted within his heart. Then although doing business, taking care of family responsibilities, and in the pharmaceutical industry, it's just amazing the amount of determination and struggle that Srila Prabhupada underwent. Just trying to see that people are living in complete darkness. There was war going on, the war, and there was so much struggling and suffering. And although Srila Prabhupada had the answers of the ancient Vedic wisdom of all the great acharyas, the Guru Parampara, it was crystal clear how to convey this message of Godhead to others who know nothing. You know, everyone's brought up in their religion, their tradition, their culture, their beliefs about life, what they heard in school from philosophy, from scientists, their upbringing, their cultural surroundings, so many things. Everyone is the blind leading the blind. But Srila Prabhupada, by Krishna's grace, was guided to the shelter of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, on several occasions, instructed Abhay that you take this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and spread it throughout the world. So immediately after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati left this world, the Gaudiya Math had trouble. Power struggle, who will be in charge, who's in charge of the properties, who will get what facility. So the Math broke into several, many of the sannyasis from the Math started their own little Maths. And Srila Prabhupada became very favorable, obviously supporting, and after writing a beautiful poem on Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's Vyasa Puja, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta marked it that, you know, he captured it, that he's knocking out this impersonal calamity and bringing the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And even the speech, the essay he wrote for the introduction of the Vyasa Puja ceremony, very, very impressive. All the God brothers, they coined him as Kavi, poet. And after some time, they gave the Bhaktivedanta Prabhu as a title of one who's actually, anything that Bhaktivedanta Prabhu writes, you print it. So Prabhupada, despite the difficulties of family responsibilities, trying to, at the same time, produce transcendental literatures from the Goswamis and from the Guru Parampara, and you know, his own papers, putting out his own paper. There was just amazing, one struggle after another, how Krishna eventually, even though he was positioned to become very wealthy and successful in business, his interest in pushing on Chaitanya's mission grew more and more. And as the 50s, and Srila Prabhupada was in his middle 50s, I think in Jhansi, he had the vision to a league of devotees, that somehow going here, going there, preaching personally one-on-one. I don't know if anyone's done the Sankirtan the way we've done in the West. You go on the street, meet people, talk to people, give them a magazine, and you have to deal with many difficulties, with people's objection, no time, not interested. You know, people are basically think it's just another way of making money, because the whole world is centered around making money. But Srila Prabhupada, he underwent the struggle. And even with the League of Devotees, he had the full concept of how to train people. He wanted 40 sincere, dedicated people to be trained as brahmanas, and he could train them for preaching purposes, not only locally, but internationally. He was always thinking worldwide. The whole world needs this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We can't even find one person to surrender his life, some part-time appreciation. Oh, very nice, Swami, you're doing good work, like every other organization. And Prabhupada would write to administrative heads, political leaders, wealthy personalities, influential personalities, most of which would not reply, but the secretary would give a polite, oh, you're doing such good work, very good work. Not having a clue that Prabhupada has the treasure house of the Vedic knowledge, and he's building up momentum, but to the point where he was completely dependent on Krishna, dedicated to Krishna's mercy because Krishna took everything away. And he found his family was not interested in the preaching efforts. He found that their interest something different. So Srila Prabhupada, taking Vanaprastha, also having dreamed from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati that I need to take sannyas for preaching purposes. So he was satisfied in wearing his white and Vanaprastha, and he came after all the struggles, finally the Jhansi League of Devotees, that also, there's an intriguing history behind all of it. It's actually very suspenseful, very dramatic. If you have time, make time, read that Lilamrita. It's in depth, it's quite detail-orientated, but there's so much preaching, understanding of the social environment and people's dissatisfaction and people's illusion and different beliefs that are out there that without any sadhu shastra guru backing it up. So Srila Prabhupada came back to Vrindavan. He visited Vrindavan several times. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so eager to go to Vrindavan, so eager. Also finding Radhakund, Shyamakund, empowering his direct disciples, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, to write all the literatures on what is devotional service, what is the purpose and goal of life. So Srila Prabhupada came back to Vrindavan. And although in the beginning he stayed on the bank of the Jamuna at the Gopalji Mandir, then we know he goes to Radha Damodar and continued his work on Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita, Back to Godhead magazine, and the articles that he would write according to time, place, and circumstance, what people were concerned about, even when he came to America, crime, what to do. There was some in Chicago, Prabhupada. He would approach the government very boldly and tell them, you give me this facility, I will train, and you will stop all this violence and drug addiction and misguided, unhappy, bewildered youth who are... One thing that at that time was not understood in India is that in the West, even though they had money and they had opportunity for sense gratification, still they were not happy. Still they were disenchanted and completely bewildered as to what am I doing with myself? What is the purpose of life? Where is the happiness? So the leaders, the politicians were pushing industrialization, technology, and of course, you know, cutting up that atom, nuclear power for peace purposes. So the whole world is on the brink of destruction. And then India got the independence that they were so much working for, but the condition was no better. People were in slums and they were living on the street, and it was a very, very difficult situation. What to speak of even in America during the Great Depression. We're only seeing a few years, so a little bit of material prosperity. People are running around in, you know, some fancy vehicles are flying here and there, and all of a sudden pandemic hits them and everything is shut down for years on end. People are struggling, are suffering, and still they don't have any time to hear the message of Godhead. So not only what people were thinking that Prabhupada is, you know, overly enthusiastic, because despite repeated reason to be discouraged, he was not discouraged because he was self-satisfied by serving his Guru Maharaj and serving the mission of Krishna. He didn't understand why is it that that cow put his horn in him and he was knocked down in the heat of the summer, extreme heat. Also, he had heat stroke and so much suffering. What to speak of the Jaladuta journey coming to America, it's like, if you've seen it in a movie, it'll be almost too difficult to understand. How is it that this person underwent so much trouble and tribulation, but still maintain his enthusiasm and determination. If you speak in the wrong tone to somebody, they're discouraged for life. They're ready to give it up. Oh, you spoke to me like that, I'm finished. So we all have our identities, our egos, identification. Srila Prabhupada, showing the example, performed his duty, but then dedicated his life for the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You can hear the early lectures, the Bhagavad-Gita lectures, the Chaitanya Charitamrita lectures in New York, Lower East Side. All the struggle we can talk about forever and ever, but he's a warrior. Srila Prabhupada is our savior of the whole world, because if it wasn't for his relentless determination, it's like, when somebody just does not stop again and again and again. He was thinking how I can make at least one person a pure devotee of the Lord. How can I awaken this desire for Krishna consciousness in someone? And it was not an easy task. Very, very difficult, because most people, they may give a little help, a little admiration, and some flattering words of appreciation, but ultimately there was no real surrender. But somehow, as we see how Krishna has his plan, he empowered Srila Prabhupada, Shaktivesh Avatar, to come to the Western country at the right time, when all the devotees, early devotees, they know that they were ready. A lot of hippies, as we heard some classes earlier, that people were into meditation, yoga, freedom, mysticism. All these things were very, very popular. But Srila Prabhupada, with his gem of the authentic teaching of Bhagavad-Gita as it is, right now we're spoiled. We can just pick up the books and we have the absolute truth in front of us. But imagine you had no idea what is the purpose and goal in life. You had to put your faith in someone. Maybe I like this yogi or that yogi, maybe Buddhism, maybe Jainism, maybe impersonalism, maybe bhakti, maybe karma. I mean, it's just a matter of shooting in the dark. So Srila Prabhupada, with his kirtan, with his prasadam and his lecture and his personalism, his love, his absolute determination, he convinced some of the Westerners who were feeling and appreciating Srila Prabhupada's empowerment and the dancing and the chanting and the beautiful charisma, the attraction was there. So we see how not only everyone was still penniless. Prabhupada came to America with nothing but books, which is jewels, and but he would tell, okay, you Dinabandhu, you go open up this temple. This one, you go open up a temple. So they went to San Francisco, went to London, South Africa. They went to all over Europe, Canada. In the early days, it was a struggle, hand to mouth, very, very raggedy-looking group of misfits, they call them, just wearing bed sheets and different colored socks, because everything came out of the merge room, you had to just... But we were happy to be in Prabhupada's camp and having the guidance of the Gita, Krishna book, teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada envisioned that he wanted all these books, and they all became manifest. He wanted temples all over the world, they became manifest. He wanted to establish the principles of Varnashram Dharma. To some extent, he explained throughout his books what is a Brahmana, what is a Kshatriya, what is a Vaishya, what is a Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas. It's all scientific. The purpose of life has to be utilized for sacrifice, cultivating knowledge, and renunciation. So many joined, late 60s, 70s. I was attracted only 75. I was into TM, Transcendental Meditation, for some time, some years. Met the devotees in Buffalo, the Harinam, the Kirtans. And first time seeing Prabhupada was in Washington, D.C. That was all the way in 76. America's bicentennial 200th anniversary. Srila Prabhupada came to Potomac Temple in Washington, spending days with devotees just in the kirtan. Prabhupada would raise his hands and devotees would jump with joy and giving the prasad to all the kids, the big kids, little kids. So the society was now taking some foothold. In the beginning, if there's no reputation, what is Bhakti Godhead? Who is Bhakti Vedanta? There's no, what is League of Devotees? What is International Society for Krishna Consciousness? It's very difficult for the college preachers also. We had teams going to universities, colleges. So Srila Prabhupada, he empowered. Imagine managing a worldwide organization, responding in letter in a personal form to everyone's inquiries, and not just a few words, but very closely analyzing what is the subject matter of this letter and answering completely, covering this very appropriately, very lovingly. And just the purports, Srila Prabhupada's purports. This is the realization coming from Krishna. Krishna's preaching, Paramatma is actually manifest as the Guru, and the Guru is non-different than Krishna. Krishna is the Lord, the Guru is the servitor Lord. Krishna is served by all of us. So Srila Prabhupada continued. Not everyone had an opportunity for that direct, intimate association. We heard the other day of Shrudakirti Prabhu traveling with Srila Prabhupada, recording, massaging, and cooking for and taking care of the various responsibilities as a servant, and rotating secretaries. There were several servants as well. But Srila Prabhupada, his mission was to not only spread the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world, but to also empower his sincere devotees that they can also spread the Sankirtan mission. And we all became entrapped in this web of Krishna's mercy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted that all those who are born in Bharatvarsh, India, to take the message of Godhead and spread it all over the world. But also it's everyone's duty. It's all of ours duty. And now we have a platform, ISKCON, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And ISKCON is Srila Prabhupada. ISKCON is the Bhagavatam. ISKCON is the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, Krishna book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Chaitanya Charitamrita. These literatures are what is actually the backbone and subsistence of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada wanted, we work together, we all learn the art of devotional service, learn to avoid the offenses. And the more and more we hear the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The more we hear the holy name, the more we associate with devotees, take prasadam, then that natural love for Krishna is awakened in our hearts. And this is giving pleasure, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. These are visionaries, empowered. Like Advaita Acharya, although he's Mahavishnu, he wanted Lord Krishna personally come to give this love of God. So Lord Chaitanya came, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratashe Namaha. The most merciful incarnation of the Lord And Srila Prabhupada is direct representative. He brought Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda to the whole world. He brought Krishna Balaram to the whole world. Radha Shyama Sundar, what is Vrindavan? He brought to the world. Why is it jam-packed? People want to come and see Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada popularized Krishna consciousness in a way that's awakening people's love for Krishna. And this is something that's, we cannot have enough gratitude, how we can pay back the debt to our spiritual master for freeing us from the cycle of birth and death. Because if we fall from and go again into millions and millions of births of suffering in this material world, we don't know if we'll ever have another opportunity. This is really a golden opportunity. Srila Prabhupada is here, as we heard from Prithu Prabhu the other day. Srila Prabhupada is always with us. You know, you read his books and you can feel Prabhupada's presence. You hear his lecture, you can hear in your heart Srila Prabhupada. He's like the super soul giving you guidance. And that determination that I'm tired of working hard simply to maintain the body, the family. Family is there. Nationality, national interests are there. Social, communal anxiety is there. No one wants to see any animal suffering, no human being suffering. There's humanitarian, what do you call that? The United Nations is there to keep world peace, and every kind of altruistic and nationalistic organization is there to help the human beings. But real help comes when we give the truth, Bhagavad-Gita as it is, when we can deliver the message of Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada introduced Rath Yatra. Even from his childhood he was excited to serve Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Jagat Guru, the Lord of the universe. Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, is giving his mercy. So Srila Prabhupada encouraged all his disciples, and so many Rath Yatras took place. He wanted farm projects so that we could become self-sufficient, simple living, high thinking. Gita Nagari, New Vrindavan, many farms, different projects. He wanted Gurukul, a training system for our children so they can actually be instructed on Bhagavad-Gita as Krishna wanted it to be instructed. Everything is crystal clear. Our map is given to us by Prabhupada, a very clear map. Now we need the determination to stay on board and stay resolute. Vyavasayatmaka buddhir ekeha kurunandana, bahushaka henantascha buddhayo vyavasayanam. One who's resolute in his determination, his purpose is one, Krishna, back to Godhead, Krishna consciousness. But those who are irresolute, their mind is many-branched. Oh no, I gotta make money here, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I have no time. But when death comes, they still have no time. They may have the best doctors, the best medicine, but still death will take them. Sure as taxes and death, right, Dinabandhu? There's nothing as certain as taxes and death, because we all got to pay our taxes. The government's providing, we pay taxes. The demigods are providing, we have to make sacrifice. So our life as human beings will be properly utilized if we surrender to the Guru. This is the first teaching in Bhagavad-Gita, Tadviri Pranipatena Pariprashnena Seva, Upadekshanti Te Jnanam, Jnananas Tattvadarshana. But the surrendering process is difficult. It's made much easier now. We're seeing, oh, so many have surrendered all over the world. There's books, there's temples, okay, I can do it. But imagine the very beginning, there's nobody, it's only a handful, 4 or 5 people who are following an old Swami around. I mean, unless you've read and understood the meaning of Bhagavad-Gita, how to dedicate your life so you can fix your mind to always think of Krishna, to be eager to hear about Krishna's pastimes, his birth, his activities, his missionary spirit of bringing the whole Vrindavan Dham from the spiritual kingdom to this world, And the materialists are blinded by the externalities, but premanjana churita bhakti velochanena santak sadaiva hridayeshu velokayanti yang Shama Sundar. That we can actually see Shama Sundar, we can see Krishna Balaram in the form of their deities by calling out their name. In due course, our vision will be fixed. But now we're covered by misidentification, desires, aspirations. But very quickly, we can cleanse that heart. Cheto darpana marjanam. So Srila Prabhupada is giving us the most wonderful gift, the chanting of the holy name, prasadam, association of devotees, and living in Vrindavan Dham is best. They say by living in a holy Dham, Sri Vrindavan Dham, by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, worshipping Tulsi Devi, associating with devotees, chanting the holy name, one can achieve perfection. That perfection is awakening our love for Krishna at the time of death, going back home, back to the spiritual kingdom. So I spent many years in Miami. We had New Naimisharanya, and immediately they thought, oh, you'd be a good book distributor. So I was in Miami airport like 20 years, distributing books to many, all over, people traveling around the world. And our focus was on book distribution. So the 4 principles, preaching is the essence. We all want to follow our Guru Maharaj's footsteps. Prabhupada is a preacher. He was a very bold, confident, very clear preacher. And books are the basis. He has strong faith that by giving Bhagavad-Gita, giving Bhagavatam, and giving authentic Vedic literatures very clearly will awaken people's misunderstandings. So preaching is the essence, books are the basis, purity is the force. So there are rules and regulations which govern one to become a Brahmana, to become a suitable candidate as a disciple. Srila Prabhupada wasn't looking for just numbers to initiate. He wanted people who were introspective, who really wanted to solve the problems of life, who wanted to take up and have faith in the Guru, in the message of Guru, have faith that Krishna spoke this Bhagavad-Gita, and it being explained by Prabhupada according to time, place, and circumstance, not that he changed anything, but made us understand that Bhagavad-Gita is meant for us to surrender to Krishna, put an end to our misunderstandings of life, and really achieve perfection. So we have the preaching is the essence, books are the basis, purity is force, and utility is the principle. Prabhupada utilized his intelligence. He tried every single angle, how to excite others to appreciate his determination to carry out the mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. Try to encourage his godbrothers, his friends, his associates, everyone about the urgency of taking up Krishna's message, chanting the holy name, and preaching the message of Godhead. So those 4 things. Preaching is the essence, books are the basis, purity is the force, and utility is the principle. And that's what the Krishna consciousness movement is centered around, how to bring people from darkness to light. Is Subhag Maharaj is here? He's chanting around? Because now is time for us to hear more pastimes, and also whenever I see Subhag Maharaj, it reminds me of Prabhupada. He spends his time in Mayapur. He spends his time glorifying Prabhupada and speaking the simple, straightforward philosophy that's convinced all of us to give up our so-called happy lives and take up much happier life of Krishna's consciousness. Parang drishtva nivartate. Unless you have a higher taste, you cannot give up that lower taste. And that lower taste is simply like an animal in the desert looking for happiness, looking for the mirage of water, and there is no water. So we go on and on until we dry up and die. So we should not waste this very, very valuable vehicle This body is our vehicle. You've got the computer, the senses, the eyes, the ears, everything is, we're equipped. So the tongue, we're chanting the holy name. The ears, we're hearing about Srila Prabhupada, his pastime, his glory, his magnificent accomplishment, how he actually conquered in a very difficult situation. He planted the seed of Krishna consciousness, fulfilled the mission of his Guru Maharaj. So we should utilize our body, whatever energy we have, for the purpose of glorifying the Guru, Sadhu, and the purpose of assisting Srila Prabhupada's Sankirtan mission. Srila Prabhupada ki. Sorry, I just did more preaching than past times, but there's Vani and Bapu. Like I said, there are those who are massaging the feet and having the daily worship and physical audience, which is undescribably, we're totally jealous. We all want to have that. But Vani, carrying out the order is very important. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda, you don't come to Jagannath, you go preach. So we're all ordered, go preach. It's not just one man's responsibility, it's not just Prabhupada's responsibility to save the world, to climb mountains, he accomplished Herculean tasks which nobody could even dream of accomplishing. And he's giving that same power. You surrendered, you have faith, you have courage. Prabhupada is fearless. Devotee becomes fearless in his efforts of preaching. Subhag Maharaj Ji, coming. I see he's coming. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So here today, we are here to hearing and glorifying Prabhupada and remembering. We find our scripture, our Acharya and perfect sadhu as our guide. And here we find they are saying Mahajana Jenagata Sapanta Saswasya Tatta Nihitam Guhayam. Guha means cave, where sometime, Alibaba like that, where the treasure is there. Treasure of the what? No, treasure of the truth. Supreme truth is hidden. But if we really want to get that, we have to go through following the footprints simply of the Mahajan. Here is Prabhupada, Mahajan. Prabhupada said, Mahajan is who follows the Mahajan, he becomes. So he did, he associated, he had the Sadhu Sangha of great, some say, ray of Vishnu, Bhakti Siddha. The Saraswati Thakur, according to scripture, you find, say, Hutkale Purushottam. Purushottam is Bhoma Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, spiritual world within this material plane like Jagannath Puri, Nilachal. There Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur came and he inspired him, encouraged him to fulfill the prediction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that every town and village people one day will be chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. And we see our Prabhupada's disciples, they are glorifying. Narottam Das Thakur says about Guru Tattva Ebe Jas Bhuchukti Bhuvana. Your glories, let the glories of my spiritual matter spread worldwide. And we are doing, and thereby we become purified. Scripture says, Vaishnava Gunara, Vaishnava means pure devotee. Here is Prabhupada, pure devotee. Anna Vilasita Sunnam, neither Sarvapadi Vinin Muktam. Also, Srimad Bhagavatam saying, Paramhamsa means he is free from enviousness. So Prabhupada wanted to make a society, but by setting examples, he is called Acharya, teaches Acharati iti Acharya, teaches by example. This is not like the Prabhu says, stamp. I made a society, I want to make some. Now modern society, there is chaos. Society is compared to a body, where head, brain is considered. One is the mode of goodness, brain department, stomach, hand department, stomach department, leg department, as Prabhupada is saying, explaining. So society is compared to a body, and where if there is no head, this is very important part, it is useless. There is no head. Modern society, Kalau Shuddha Sambhava, everybody is born Sambhava, born Sudra. Though claiming, born as a Brahmin, then God said, I will create Brahmins. A perfect gentleman. Otherwise, this place is not fit for a gentleman. Bhakti-yoga Thakur said. So, gentleman is required. That is ISKCON. First, come in the mode of goodness. And Prabhupada said, temple means 24 hours devotees are engaged. Nothing but the interest of Krishna and nothing else. Just right now, by Krishna's grace, Prabhupada I saw something written there in the beginning as you entered. There Prabhupada is saying like that. Krishna will give us intelligence. But unfortunately, if you have got a own personal motive or benefit, then this wonderful society, this ideal society, Prabhupada said, I cannot make whole world, but I can at least make a society example, sample, ideal, so that other can follow the footprints, make the whole. Even a percentage small people become Krishna conscious. The whole world we can build like a Satya Yuga, golden age. Everybody will be happy, at least for some time. Otherwise it is a Durga. Durga means Durga. Very difficult to get out. If you are born, doesn't matter Brahma, doesn't matter Indra. Could be sometime Naraka, sometime heaven. This is samsara. Sangsarati iti samsara. Jagat gacchati iti. Always changing, always changing. Sometimes this, sometimes that. But when you come to Krishna consciousness, life is completely changed. That is the most fortunate person. All the devotees of ISKCON, where Prabhupada will be always to the others outsiders say, here, the all bright face, I am not saying, and free from anxiety themselves, and he will always glorify his followers. But as a father or a spiritual master, representative of Krishna, he is trying to train us after as a father does. Like father, like son. In also Hindi said, Baap ka beta, Sipahi ka ghoda. Sipahi ghoda, Sipahi, training dog, horse. The Prabhu said like some Vaishnava say, Tumi to Thakur, Tomar kukur bolia jana ho. You are exalted person, God's representative. Just accept me as your menial servant, like a dog. Why say dog, not other? A dog is very obedient. Even he can give life. So he asks like a menial servant. He can ask question. So if someone become an ideal disciple, student, he can become also guide easily. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say, Amar Aggai, I am doing hukum, I am ordering you, everybody. You deliver every others. You simply have to do his thing. What Krishna said, don't interpret. Don't give gojamin, adulteration. Simply manmana bhava, think of me. Is it difficult every day saying in the temple ISKCON? Mad Bhakto, become my devotee, just as we are doing. Mad Chitta, Mad Gata Prana, Savanam, Kirtanam, Saranam, Bandhanam, Archanam, 64 item. Life should be molded in such a way that Smartabha Satatam Vishnu. That Prabhupada himself did from his childhood. Because if you want one life, go back to Godhead. If you are born from your childhood, early life, or practice Krishna Vasana is trained up, that is why Prabhupada made Gurukul. And Prabhupada said, this is the future of ISKCON. Only he should day and night work for the Gurur Hitam, for the benefit of Guru. Even Guru does not forget to ask him for food, meal, he should fast. And this way he will learn how to, through austerity, tapodibam, learn how to control the senses, becoming Goswami. Don't mind. Prabhupada is saying his conception, idea of Goswami, he is saying what he expects from us. He said, Grihastha, I want to become Goswami. Goswami is not a danda. I take danda and become Goswami. It's not right. It is external. He could be Godasa after sense gratification, because it is the qualification. Prabhupada's words should be taken seriously, otherwise you have to end up with some anticlimax, which you see in the history, and you can learn so much. Of course, many are done, and Krishna did so many service, and Krishna will reward them now. But if you don't follow Sadhu Shastra Guru, maybe later on find difficult to maintain the purity of particular ashram. So Prabhupada wanted to establish Varnashram Dharma. Before he leaves, he said, institute Varnashram Dharma. And Prabhupada said, one should take the words of the spiritual master very, very seriously. And he took it. He took it. And what happened? Whole world is a united nation. This is ISKCON. Prabhupada said, maybe this is the only organization where making people's life most fortunate people in the world. Maybe the only organization. Ramanujacharya, Jamunacharya, Madhvacharya did, maybe within India. Though now even within India, what to speak of, not going to outside world, becoming, getting stamped, Jagat Guru. Prabhupada that much was not into it. But he is Jagat Guru. He is going round the world. Maybe in the short time, in his 10-year span, maybe more than 14 times he went round the world and preaching. As far as I remember, I am telling, please forgive me, I am getting old, I forget things often. I am thinking whether I will come or not. So ask for his forgiveness. Mayapur, I remember that there was one very good astrologer. Simply pick up the phone at once, he started talking to you what you want to know. Answer, he started talking. We saw him. Once seeing his photo, Prabhupada said, here is a saintly person who can make a home. The whole world can live together happily. Here is ISKCON. This is ISKCON. And here Prabhupada said, but if you have got, you should be very careful. Huh? If you ruin it, if you have got personal motive, ambition, other than pleasing Krishna. Prabhupada's every word, very important, significant. Prabhupada always trying to train his boys, going every day, morning walk. And I remember one day, morning walk he is doing, minor thing. Sometimes teachers, he said, we everybody know godliness means next to cleanliness, means next to godliness. So he wanted, Brahmin means called Suchi. Suchi means he is clean. Outside clean, in India even the poorest man, Prabhupada said, 3 times take bath. He may have one cloth. Take a bath. Prabhupada wanted. He would give always ideal example. So he created Gurukul, so that they become Brahmachari, the future of ISKCON. Then he had got don't mind, one to another I am going mixing up. And farm community, Krishi Gorakha, they will be self-sufficiency. They will, with cows, they will till the land and make their product, fruits, vegetables, grain. They require. First requires food, fooding, clothing, lodging. Simple living, high thinking. This is civilization, not skyscraper, tube. And some story reminds me, somebody in somewhere, Prabhupada was in Germany, most probably. I think as far as. And some guy is telling about so much advancement. Then Prabhupada said, this is advancement. What? See, we have got tube, underground. Then Prabhupada said, only other thing, plane, this, that. Then Prabhupada said, one Prabhupada gave example. Prabhupada said, underground. This is advancement. In Vedic culture, advancement is something else. Lots of silk, lots of food, grains like Maharaj Yudhishthir's time, Maharaj Parikshit's time, Ramchandra's time. People are subjects, are all happy. The king or soldier, the commander-in-chief, they go in front of the war. He will never puts your return without either do or die. And Prabhupada is giving example. This is simple living, so they can know what is the meaning of life. As ask after death what? Nowhere these things are giving indication. They don't know. This is not blind faith. Even example is Gita from the very beginning giving. Na jayate miyate vakachachit na bhutta bhavita na vabhuga. We are eternal, nitto nittanam, chetanas chetanam. Why you require so many slaughterhouse, factory and office civilization? Sometime for this, no food. Rubber factory in Delhi to Vrindavan going making. Good stone, or what is that? Good year, Prabhupada said. What is this nonsense? And once Prabhupada said, this is not big story building. And then he said, have you ever gone? I am explaining to you, this man. Gone to the countryside? Yes. So countryside, other than human being in the field, they are living entity. Any big living entity? Yes. Cows, any small, live here and there in the mud. Yes, they are mouse. Where do they live? They have got hole. Who make it? They make. So to make your hole and tunnel, what you require? You have to be big engineer. There are engineering colleges, technological colleges, universities. Big engineers, machineries, factories. Did they go to school, college, university, technical college? And it remains sad. This is not civilization. Civilization means you should know what you are first. If you don't know, what is the value of all these things? It remains silent. Your aeroplane sometimes can carry, I am hearing, there will be jumbo jet, 400 people carrying 700. Previously, there was car, you have got, very nice, everybody fastening. Modern civilization means big building, big first-class car, big road. But at that time also there, but there is full of pollution now, big problem. Every convenience, there is some inconvenience. This is modern invention. Every invention like that. Yoga said, look, you made computer. It means sometimes it can do 100% job. Some country it will be make so many people, 100 people are unemployed. In Germany, once Second World War, women are going to the church to ask, bring back our husband, father, my brother, all these things. And then for food, going to the bread, there is no bread. Government has to take from the stool of human being fat and put there. And they don't know. Now some country very advanced, I won't mention, they say that the Prabhupada was not allowed there. Maybe God's arrangement. Very near, they say, this is like a New York of the East. I won't tell which country. It's just like city itself is a country. You know which. I don't know. Say not very far from India. They are very proud for that. They don't know, everybody knows now. It's from their switch, they take their water and all tap everything they are using. Even making drinking water, cooking. The Prabhupada said, this is not so. Previously, rivers were not polluted, now all polluted. So, Prabhupada said, so we will teach our children. Somebody asked Prabhupada, can you solve all problems? Prabhupada said, it is said, Hare Krishna mantra can solve all problems. Can you solve all problems? No, but we are facing problem challenge. Prabhupada said, this can solve all problems. That is what we are showing. How? And Prabhupada once, he is asking, okay, what about pollution present day in the big cities? It can also be solved. Prabhupada said, how? That man, I think Irish poet talking to you. Then one point Prabhupada said, yes, it is said, you have to have faith. How? I said, that I don't know. Of course, we say that. But other cases we see many like this. Once in Nairobi and another time in Hyderabad, for years there is no rain, there is drought, farmers committing suicide. Both places. They came to know one Swami has come, get saint from India, first Nairobi maybe, yeah. There, they asked, especially Lions Club, those are social work do sometime. Then another one is that, I forget, something like that. Lions Club and others, the clubs, they came, their head, see the Swami, can you solve this problem? We heard, Indian sadhu can do so many things. Prabhupada said, don't worry, God can do anything. God. Never mind. We just have a pandal, arrange, organize a pandal program. We'll come and you also come. Okay? Then Prabhupada is preaching about Krishna consciousness. This age, Kali Yuga Kalo, Tad Hari Kirtana. Simply Hari Kirtan can solve all problems. Prabhupada said sometime, you have got problem, go to Krishna, go to the deity and chant Hare Krishna. You will find all your problems solved. Prabhupada said. Anyway, you have to have some patience. They say, okay, they did program. Hey, not much time. Both places, one I am saying. Prabhupada gave a short speech on Krishna consciousness. The essence is that Mahamantra, he prayed to the Lord. My dear Lord, Lord's internal energy, please engage me in your service. Even this chanting also service. Really? Yeah. It can solve all your problems. Really? Okay. And Prabhupada asked his disciples, mostly Western, well, let us have good chanting. Please join with us, clapping hand and chanting. Yeah, there. Long time. Most of the time, lecture is little, chanting, dancing. Everybody is chanting, dancing. It's quite late. Prabhupada said, oh, quite late. Let us go back. What about solving our problem? Don't worry. How you will do Krishna knows. It is in the hand of Krishna. He also already told. Everybody fall asleep. Why? Heavy rain. Never the scenes are there. Almost the whole place is getting devastated. Early morning, everybody is so happy. Newspaper, everybody writing. The sadhu came from India. Same thing happened in Hyderabad. Later on, Lion Club, Rotary Club head came to see Prabhupada and saying, I heard your organization is very rich, so you can feed the people for so long time, till we get. Prabhupada said, that I cannot do. Why? Our duty is to teach. Krishna conscious devotee is to teach the people. We are making teachers, Brahmin. Brahmin means he teaches. He doesn't take anything. He simply teaches. So we are teaching him. If I give him at all, again he will come. So what is the solution? Solution is, you do what we say and what we showed you. You chant Hare Krishna and see yourself. Then your problem is so you don't have to go to others. Why you go to others? You go to Krishna. Krishna is complete. He can solve all your problems. That is why Prabhupada said. And this way Prabhupada is teaching us, teaching the whole world. Others may be using it for his divine motives. Say, some they call father of a nation, whatever may be the name, I don't want to say. Some government may get upset with that society. Prabhupada said so many things. Big official coming to Vrindavan say, this is God's place? So dirty, filthy, swear, everywhere. Prabhupada said, just to keep them away from here so they don't come. This is external. Real Vrindavan, one can have a vision of that. If he is a devotee, he can envision it. Vishaya chariya se rase moja. Become a devotee, give up sense gratification, you will see, you realize Vrindavan. So he may be a great man in the eye of the world, but he may be doing so much for the society, making factory and telling this is the temple of modern this country. Maybe arranging job, providing, as a matter of fact, which is ultimately he get bread and butter. But that is not everything. Without going to 9 to 5 work, even elephant to ant, Krishna is giving food. Elephant. Even his breakfast is maybe 70 pound, 80 pound. He is getting how many pound? We eat breakfast. We have to work so hard? Not necessary. This is Prabhupada teaching the world. Prabhupada sometimes through story and other things give example like that and teaches others. There are many there. Prabhupada wanted, he's one of the most ambitious projects. He said, make Mayapur very popular. Make transport so that overland, by water, by river, by even by air, people can come here and preach in such way. Whatever happened, it will definitely happen, because when God says something, it is called Satya Sankalpa. Nityananda Prabhu said, Adbhut mandire khoibe prakash. Gaurange nitya seva hoibe vikas. And that is coming up. Prabhupada once said, if you can make this temple of understanding, TOVP, Vedic version of the universe, idea of universe, is like a chandelier. Chandelier, and the top is the polar star, pole star, pole star, and below is the sun. Sun is going up and down, so north to south, at the rate of 16,000 miles per minute or second. Fast. But other planets, sometime like around his axis spinning, at the same time going round. Saptarishi, all going round. And polar means Dhruvaloka. Those who cannot go to the spiritual world get at least Dhruvaloka, Prabhupada said. As good almost like spiritual. Prabhupada said, we will show that to them. Unlike their idea, what they are saying. And for this temple, Prabhupada said, if you can make it, when complete, you can invite the President of America, the then, and King or the Queen of UK. Even Bhakti Vinod Thakur from the spiritual world will come back to bless you, to thank you. He will come back from the spiritual world. Now, that is they are trying to, our devotees are trying to do, trying best. Prabhupada's desire to fulfill, and it's coming up nicely. By his devotees, this is success something of our movement. Some other fields may be, Prabhupada says, boil the milk. That means he is talking about standard, quality and purity. Don't water it down. Rather, if you cannot expand, at least maintain what I gave you. Of course, some are trying to open some our farm community, Gurukul, what Prabhupada gave. Many schools are coming, some Gurukuls are also coming, and some farm community also coming different parts of there. Some are not so flourishing, little, not dead, but not many, vibrant, far from vibrant, like that. So, Prabhupada sometime, whatever coming in my mind, tell him, please forgive me, may not be in order. Prabhupada will be enlightening us to teach something. He'll be telling stories, sometimes make us laugh. After coming from some country to another country, Prabhupada sometime will sit down in his room with all his, just like a father, all his children, and go on telling so many things. Especially all the purpose of teaching them. Sometimes was a very light mood, Prabhupada was telling something from his life. He used to go to cinema, he used to fly kites, may not be related to Krishna consciousness. Some devotee suddenly said, Prabhupada, this is nothing to do with Krishna. Listen up to the end, you see the moral, end, conclusion is what? Then you will tell. Prabhupada, this is all Charlie Chaplin. We like it, Charlie Chaplin. Prabhupada will tell what he saw Charlie Chaplin. Sometime other comedian, there's one guy, I think. His name was Max Cylinder. If I am wrong, somebody can correct me. So this Max Cylinder, one day he is a dancing, ball dance type, and special dress is there. Those who are Western and know what sort of dress. The Max Cylinder, there is some interval, a break for some time, so he is taking little break, resting outside the auditorium somewhere, backside. When he is absorbed in what he will do, Max, suddenly a little naughty boy saw what this guy is doing. He said, slowly came behind him. So he is hearing this. He put a nail and nail his dress so that he cannot hear. Slowly slipped out from this place. Max Cylinder didn't notice all these things. He's absorbed. Thought. Suddenly he said, Camilla, I have to go. Hey, cat! What is that? Hey, stone! What to do now? How I go to the... Then he's thinking something. Go to the back room where they dress. Others are there. Hey, what happened? Then he's very intelligent also. He said, this is modern fashion. Modern fashion. Don't know? This is modern fashion. Your fashion? You see, your hips are seen. What the people will think? You don't know. This is modern fashion. Really? Because he is leader, everybody cheering. Then went to the auditorium and dancing. Everybody, what is this? Everybody to others, audience. Look. And suddenly someone said, this is modern fashion. Everybody start laughing. Prabhupada is also laughing. Like that. Then Prabhupada will bring something Krishna consciousness there. Prabhupada will one day talking about a blue jackal, telling about the scientist. We remember Upadeshamrita. Now, Panchatantra and Hitopadesh. There's one great sage, one of the book he wrote, and many countries take this from India government. Can we translate it in our language? Many things you can learn from them. Because king is very old, has no son. So king had a son, when he is very old he may die. So he has to train his son to run the country. So he is asking the sages, can you train up my son so that though he is little, within young age he can run the country with a certain knowledge. So he will tell many stories. And that together compiled, I think Panchatantra or Hitopadesh. These two books famous in India, in Sanskrit. We also in a school read both these books. Another is Prabhupada will tell about Chanakya Sloka. Many devotees. I asked about Prabhupada, why Chanakya Sloka? It's for material. Prabhupada said, we have to deal with the materialistic people. Subhag, we are sadhu, they will cheat you. You have to know how to deal with them. The Chanakya sloka is important. Now Hitobodesh and Panchatantra. Prabhupada said, the scientists, we have got, main problem is, Krishna said, but that old age disease. You ask them, they will avoid, ask something. We will one day create life, consciousness, all these things, and we are exposed them, saying that Prabhupada will say, Boro Boro Badorer, Boro Boro Le, Lanka, Silon, Dingate Matha Korehe. That means somebody very much, they are bragging or very proud about their achievement and feat, what they do, like scientists. And scientists, actually their opinion highly appreciated by society. And then they follow this. And Prabhupada says, they are cheating us, they don't solve our problem. So they are like big, big monkeys. And when we ask them about the very problem, like this, our scientists, they go in like our Subhag Damodar Maharaj. He said this scientist got Nobel Prize by saying, by the combination of matter, we can create consciousness or life. So we asked him challenge some question. Sir, what you said, well, you got Nobel Prize, we want to ask you now. Yes, ask question. So you are saying you can bring consciousness by the combination of matter. So if we require those elements, material element, and we provide you, can you create consciousness? Can you create life? That I cannot say. So what is the use of giving you Nobel Prize? Give Nobel Prize to a dog, cat. Prabhupada said like that. You'll tell them, rascal, you should expose them. He exposed them, then he told one story again. What is the story? Story is, this one Prabhupada said, big, big monkeys, big, big belly, jumping Ceylon Lanka, melancholy. It's from the Bengali word. Some presidency college professor translated this. The guy, those who are too much proud, I achieved, make this achievement, this, you should, they're actually, when I ask some difficult problem, they say, I can't. This way, explaining, Prabhupada, so many cases use this example, tell this thing. Big, big monkeys, big, big belly. Even to train his students, Prabhupada will tell like that. I ask you, are every time writing in a letter, Prabhupada, this is all complete, first class work going on. What is going on now? I came in time, the door is not fixed, it is not painted, nothing done, so many things yet to be done. I said it's all complete. Then Prabhupada is telling me, this word, big, big monkeys, big, big bellies. Jumping Lanka, like Hanuman, many monkeys were there. And they are asked, who can jump? Hanuman jump. Others saying, I can. But when they asked, now you do. He said, no, I don't. This is been preached. So, but this way, teach us. And then come to that thing, that you should expose them. They cannot solve our problem. Why? Then Prabhupada will tell the story, what happened. Story is that Panchatantra Hitopadesh, there is story. Story is telling that once born guy, Sial Raja, in Bengali you say. And Sanskrit we read is called Nilavarna Sigala. Bhat means like the blue jackal. Sometimes in a material society called, he comes from blue blood. Is so? I mean, very high class family. Tagore, Nehru. So he is saying that one day in the forest, near the village, there is a dense forest. Forest, there are tiger there are lion there are other rabbits there, deer there, many other animals. So one day, they saw a strange animal they have never seen. Who are you, sir? It so happened, they say, a blue, very blue one animal. Who are you, sir? He is very grave, doesn't talk much. I am sent by the Lord. Really? Tiger, show him with reverence and awe. Oh, I see. And then he goes away and tell others, do you know, you have seen one? We have never seen one. And he said, I am sent by the Lord, so I have to show him respect and dignity. Lion saw. Hurry, who is this? Sir, with hesitation, who are you? He's saying, sir. He remained grave. Usually he won't talk. After some time, I am sent by the Lord. Huh? Really? Because they haven't seen, they have to accept. Everybody is saying, have you seen him? Yeah. Lion is saying, tiger is saying, other animals, all are saying. Everybody accepted him. His exalted personality. Now who is lion? Who is tiger? It so happened one day that in the evening time, sometimes special, some jackal started. Suddenly, they cannot give up their habit. It is irresistible, you can say. You know, that's what irresistible. You cannot check. So, whatever may be the case, wherever it may be, suddenly he also started. Suddenly, tiger, lion saw, hey, this guy is a jackal. We did not know. He's sent by the Lord. Catch him, catch him. Jok palayati, sajivati. You want to save yourself? Run away. So he ran away. Prabhu said, he's exposed. He's exposed. He is not sent by the Lord, some special being. He's just any other jackal. It so happened that one day he was going, in the village, there is a washerman. Washerman, they turn his white cloth like, they make it more white, more white, they put in blue, robin blue, robin blue? Put in a blue water. And they put it and become more white, like a, what is called, I forgot in chemistry. So, it's like, so he fell, and when he come out, he see people are looking at him. Strangely, he found something much special. After he's coming out, after it dried up, it looked like blue jackal. But jackal is there, jackal's color is not blue. It's very strong blue color. Naturally, tiger, lion, see. You have never seen? Come near with hesitation. With hesitation, come near and say, sir, who are you? Scientists are like that. So Prabhupada said, you expose these scientists, so-called. They cannot solve the problem. But they are respected by the society. They don't deserve it. Expose them. In this connection, Prabhupada said, there are many stories. Yeah. Time is coming to an end, seems like that. Time is finished. Huh? Bolo. Prabhupada, many people used to come and see Prabhupada, like Allen Ginsberg, George Harrison, different parts. Especially Maynard, London. He happened to be at that time, I was there. So we saw many times Allen Ginsberg, big reporter, asking a poet, editor of a newspaper. Few some, if I could remember. Say, coming, I think Sham Sundar, sometimes the red car, sometimes Mukunda Prabhu will go and see all these people. Sometimes Prabhupada himself will go to see them, not they are coming. Like old historian Toynbee, British world famous historian. I want to go run by that time they left, sometime. Used to. And there I heard what happened, and they said, Toynebee's case, he said that in future, very near future, a religious movement will start from the eastern part of the world and spread throughout the world. Then everybody is thinking, must be this Hare Krishna movement. Because it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tad Bhaga Visharga Janataga Viplava. This Srimad Bhagavatam, because our movement is based on Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam will bring a revolution in the religious history of the world. And you can see, and Prabhupada said, because, so try to maintain purity, purity is gone, everything is becoming hollow. So Prabhupada's famous word, books are the basis. Then preaching is the essence. Purity is the force. Please correct me, Panca. Utility is the principle. That's what you are doing. But Prabhupada says, if you change what you are doing, then everything will be lost. So we should think of it seriously. What Prabhupada gave us, we should treasure it so that we achieve our goal. Because it is easy in one sense to become Krishna conscious. If you are highly placed in Krishna consciousness and strictly follow parampara, Anusunivan, hear from a realized soul, in this very life you become Krishna conscious, back to Godhead, follow. Man mana bhava. Even Krishna says, Mad bhakto, mad daji, mam namastu. Is this difficult to become this? Always think of Krishna, become his devotee, pay obeisance to him, and worship him. Then Krishna said, without doubt, asangsar, mameti, you will come back to me. It's very simple. Krishna is promising, without doubt. What is the difficulty? Again, here I saw Prabhupada say, if you had personal motive for benefit, this wonderful society can be ruined away. Sometimes saintly persons say, there may be sadhus, there may be demigods are also sitting when the nectar was being delivered, and Lord himself in Mohini form distributing some motive. Suddenly, the two guys, Asura, Rahu, Ketu, he could sense something. Maybe Mohini will deceive us with saying sweet words and smiling. You sit fast. Let me give to the demigod first. We'll come to you. You are very nice boys, saying sweet words, Mohini. At one moment, sun and moon said, these two are Asura! At once, Mohini. Krishna, Narayana, Sudarshan Chakra released. By that time, they are already in their mouth. So he said, this much they are alive. They want to swallow sun and the moon. From that came the solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. So what I was saying, I forgot. So saintly person sometimes be careful. Sometimes in disguise, I'm sorry to say, I'm just quoting Prabhupada. There could be sometimes, even in the dress of devotee, there could be asuric mentality person could be. So we should be careful. Here also Prabhupada, somebody can ruin the society. It's a wonderful society. So you should be responsible. I don't like to take your time. I am not a good speaker. Neither I can remember everything. I brought note some of the things that I am saying. Some of them forget. There are many other people say things I know, but I don't know, it requires more time to say. I don't know what you want me to do. Shall I finish it here? This is my question to you. Though you seem to be listening with rapt attention. I don't seem qualified, I am just repeating what my Guru, I heard from my Guru, and as far as I can remember. And John Lennon and John Prabhupada long before said, when John Lennon won't be there, and we find exactly, John Lennon was shot dead when he was in America. And Prabhupada before that told. He did not directly tell die. He said at that time he won't be there. And actually we saw. He was leading a life. He allowed Prabhupada first of all to stay there when devotee has no place. But his lifestyle is such Prabhupada couldn't live with him. With his girlfriend, the way he lives. I don't want to say more detail. I know. And Prabhupada. Then staying with George Harrison. George Harrison arranged very place. I happened to be there when DT came. Almost Krishna is a great thief, and his devotees are also sometimes a good kidnapper. So much so, they can kidnap even pure devotee Krishna. There is some story if you like to listen. The story how when London Berry Place was given and Sam Sundar Prabhu, who is a good carpenter, Prabhupada asked him, do the temple room. So he was doing small hall. From here to there maybe half of that. Take the door, half cut here, and then again, now from the door this side, take a line, this, now up that side, take it half. That will be the, maybe I think, yeah, the temple room. Ground floor. There are 4 or 5 story building, small. Now move to Show Street, which building we knew, it used to be a pub. Next to us also corner was a pub. Mr. French, next door neighbor, used to complain going to the court. And court justice sent some men to see what is disturbing. And the devotees are so clever. They feed him so nicely. He told his good impression, idea about the temple. And judge was satisfied. He said, no, they can carry on. If you don't feel disturbed, when they in the pub they are shouting, singing, why you feel disturbed? Just find it is justified, we can do chanting and dancing. So anyway, what I was telling about that very place, I forgot. No, not very place. The George Harrison arranged that thing. That it is center of London. We used to go every day to the Oxford Street, chanting, dancing. Later on, this the temple room, temple room. It's like the ship is like this. What is called howl of the ship. That is just inverted like this. That is there with yellow, golden yellow color, wood, nicely done cut by Sham Sundar. Prabhupada always appreciate devotees' work and encourage him. He said, you should put a plaque about Sham Sundar did it, that is wonderful temple room. And Sham Sundar did it. Prabhupada wrote a letter to his godbrother that Prabhupada, Bhakti-yoga Saraswati, our Guru Maharaj, sent his eligible disciple to preach Krishna consciousness. They are not successful to even open a center. Here I sent some grihastha, young boys and girls, 3 couple, Sham Sundar, Malati, Gurudas, Jamuna, Mukunda and Janaki, I think. When I was there, just got the temple and Diti and opened some month. When I started staying, but I was sitting and going there and seeing the devotees before that. Maybe 1970 I started staying. 71 beginning my Prabhupada gave initiation. I didn't write. Others wrote in 2 months, they got. I said, when Prabhupada come, Mukunda president, he wrote back to Prabhupada, when I come, I'll give this boy. So, what happened? Did that, Prabhupada, the BBC, all these things will be coming, BBC's, people will televise it and show first Hindu temple in Europe, London. And Prabhupada wrote back, they made it successful. In newspaper writing, Jamuna said, Hare Krishna, startle London, because they are going chanting up and down the Oxford Street, which is just a few minutes walk from our temple, High Over. So George Harrison helped to get many. George Harrison, many stories there. So many people used to come big reporters, George Harrison himself so many times, like our food, especially samosa, cauliflower samosa with peanuts, ginger, even will send to his house. Where is that place? I forgot. In some countryside, outskirt of London, a very expensive area, countryside, like Letchmore Heath or Manor. With ash, I forgot. There was royal family of house, King Jaipur's house there, Jaipur house, and Prabhupada saw their cracker they are using, and Prabhupada told the queen of Jaipur, Gayatri Devi, about this thing, and tried to make her our devotee with Shamsundar and others, being invited and tried to get some place in Jaipur, good deity there. And this place, then later on, Shamsundar will bring so many people, Ravi Shankar, world famous satirist from India, Bengal, where Vice President of America, many other British parliamentary members used to listen to him. So, Shamsundar one day brought Ravi Shankar in Prabhupada's room, in very place, and asking him, Ravi Shankar, you are a famous man, world famous. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, world famous, and he predicted that his glories will be spread round the world. You are the right person, and at the same time, with the effort, of joint effort of Prabhupada, if you join our movement, it will be very easy, and you will make a great contribution to this. He was like a very closely related to our, very friendly to our George Harrison. So it is not difficult for them to bring Shamsundar, but he won't say anything. He won't say. He remained silent all the time. Prabhupada didn't say. I gave him prasad. He went in. Very neat. But when he came, Professor Zenar, I remember, and that is that Allen Ginsberg, they came sometime also is the manner. So Allen Ginsberg, he for looking for a spiritual master came quite a few times in India. He liked Lord Shiva. He knows Prabhupada from this Tompkins Square and Matchless Gifts, that center. He gave harmonium to, small harmonium, brought for the devotees, the chanting Hare Krishna. He will be chanting. He went many more times to Kashi, but he was more impressed after that with Kashi and chanting Lord Shiva's name. When he came to Prabhupada, I said, Prabhupada, Allen Ginsberg, come to see. Yeah, call him. And he liked Prabhupada, patted him, please sing something. He started singing. Prabhupada said, no, chant Hare Krishna. Again. So Prabhupada made him chant Hare Krishna. He said, now, this is wonderful. You simply chant Hare Krishna, everything is there. So, Allen Ginsberg is a, more or less like, I think, a hippie time as a poet of America. He looked like also like that. And Professor Zenar, when he came, he said, I translated also Bhagavad-Gita, Swamiji, but I don't understand your Bhagavad-Gita. You are writing so many things. In the dictionary, there is no such meaning of this word, Sanskrit, what you wrote. Then Prabhupada remained silent. Then after some time, he is leaving. He also translated Bhagavad-Gita in Oxford University. When he is leaving, Prabhupada simply said, please take out some prasadam. Give him nice prasad. After some time he gone, Prabhupada simply said, in our Sanskrit you understand, phalena parichayati. From the fruit of a tree you can judge things. So one can judge. There is 660 or more translation of Bhagavad-Gita, of different tradition by different person. Bhagavad-Gita's essence is, Krishna is saying, become a devotee of Krishna. And these translations which give their own meaning, their concoction, imagination, couldn't make a single devotee of Krishna save and accept Bhagavad-Gita as it is our one, which make millions of people chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, This is the essence of Krishna consciousness. You simply chant, Bhakti-Vinod Thakur said, Nam bina kichu nahi dwar chodda bhavana maja. Bhagavad, you are chanting Hare Krishna means associating with Krishna. Krishna is dancing on your tongue. Because of disease material, we cannot perceive. More you become purified, you understand. You are associating with Krishna and become joyful. Hare Krishna.